Hello there, movie buffs. Welcome to the Real Talk podcast, your trusty guide through the wild world of cinema. I am your host, Josh Bell. Today, we're about to embark on a joyride with a true classic, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. So buckle up, because this movie is like a roller coaster you won't want to get off. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a comedy gem from 1987. It was the brainchild of the legendary John Hughes. It's a story that brings together two comedy giants, John Candy and Steve Martin. The setup is simple. Steve Martin's Neil just wants to make it home for Thanksgiving, but John Candy's Dell, an overly enthusiastic shower curtain ring salesman, comes along and throws his travel plans into complete chaos. The heart of the film? Well, it's these two mega talents and their chemistry, and that's what makes this film truly special. So let's dive into what makes their dynamic. So, John Candy as Del Griffith brings this lovable, larger than life character to life. Del is this guy who's full of heart, even though he's not the smoothest operator. Candy's portrayal is like a warm, cozy hug with a side of humor. There's empathy and a touch of vulnerability in his performance that makes us root for him, even when he's causing inadvertent trouble for Neil. On the other side, Steve Martin as the uptight Neil Page. His timing is on point. He nails Neil's growing frustration and exasperation as the journey takes a wild turn. He's the straight man to Candy's hilarious antics, and Martin's character evolution adds some depth to the story. Their banter and funny exchanges are what keeps us hooked. Neil's annoyance with Dell's quirks and Dell's bumbling but well meaning efforts create this comedy duo that's both relatable and side splittingly funny. But here's the magic: Planes, Trains, and Automobiles goes way beyond laughs. As the journey unfolds, the characters transform. Neil, who starts off pretty irritated with Dell, softens up, and Dell shows us his vulnerable side. Their adventure becomes this sweet exploration of friendship, the power of empathy, and makes it just much more than your regular comedy flick. There's a scene in the movie where Neil thinks about Dell's situation in a train station restroom. It's hilarious, yet turns heartfelt in a flash. That's the power of Candy and Martin, making us laugh one minute and getting us almost teary eyed the next. So John Candy and Steve Martin's incredible chemistry is what really takes this film from a standard comedy and elevates it to a timeless classic. Their performances add the depth, and they bring their characters into heartwarming and a hysterical story about human connection, and it makes it something you can rewatch time and time again. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles isn't just the Neil and Dell show. The supporting characters and cameos in this movie add some extra charm and humor. Take Edie McClurg's character, for example. She's the chatty and quirky taxi driver. Her in your face style is the perfect contrast to Neil's already frazzled state of mind, making for some extra comedic tension. And how about the Kevin Bacon cameo? He's the guy who swipes Neil's taxi. It's a quick moment, but it is pure comedic gold. A tiny appearance that's unforgettable. It's proof that the film knows how to turn even the smallest encounters into big laughs. As Neil and Dell journey on, they cross paths with all sorts of strangers and oddballs, from a bus full of passengers who sing and play instruments to the unforgettable car rental scene with the famous line, "You're effed." I'll let you fill in what the effed is. It all adds to the movie's unpredictable episodic style. These supporting characters and funny encounters are more than just distractions. They're actually an essential part of the story. They show us the zany and sometimes ridiculous side of travel, along with the unexpected connections you can make with strangers in unusual situations. In the film, every character, no matter how briefly they appear, contributes to the big tapestry of comic mishaps and touching moments, making Neil and Dell's journey even more memorable. It's a testament to John Hughes' talent for creating vibrant world for these characters to explore. Now, speaking of John Hughes, he is a legend, no doubt. So let's dig into what makes him such a big deal in the film world. John Hughes wasn't just a director, he was a creative genius. His work, including Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, has left a huge mark on movies and pop culture. His ability to capture the essence of youth and human connection set him apart. In the 80s, Hughes gave us classics like The Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and 16 Candles. These films are still dear to our hearts, speaking to our experiences of rebellion, alienation, and self discovery as we grow up. His movies bring to life the ups and downs of growing up, and they do it in an authentic and understanding way. Hughes had this amazing skill for creating characters that felt real and relatable. His stories often explored high school struggles, family dynamics, and that transition into adulthood. He understood the messiness of youth, from the need for acceptance to craving for freedom and adventure. Now, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles isn't your typical teen flick, but it's another gem in Hughes' crown. While it might have a different tone from his teen oriented classics, it carries that Hughes signature of relatable characters and human connections. Beyond the 80s, though, Hughes continued to shape cinema into the 90s with films like Home Alone and Uncle Buck, further cementing his reputation for creating memorable characters and heartwarming stories. His legacy is strong, touching generations. His movies still connect with teenagers exploring their own experiences and with film enthusiasts dissecting his storytelling techniques. Hughes' ability to capture the human journey, whether in high school or on a wild cross country trip, is what makes him a genius we'll forever celebrate in the film world. Now let's jump right into the heart of the matter, the movie itself. Released in 1987, it's more than just a laugh riot. Like I said, it's a deep dive into the depths of human connection and understanding. The movie's title says it all. It's about Neil Page trying to get back home for Thanksgiving using planes, trains, and automobiles. Sounds simple, right? Well, in this case, not so much. The film is the seamless blend of gut busting humor and heartfelt moments. The comedy often born from this crazy and frustrating situations that the characters end up in, and it is spot on. John Hughes' script is like a masterclass in knowing when to drop the punchline, and the way Martin and Candy deliver it, well, it's just pure gold. While we follow Neil and Dell's misadventures, we see a change in their characters. Neil, who starts off pretty annoyed with Dell, gradually softens up, and Dell, in his own way, shows us he's more to him than just a goofball. It's a story of two very different people thrust into a weird partnership who ultimately discover the value of patience and understanding. One of the most unforgettable scenes happens during a hotel stay where Neil and Dell are left with only one bed. It's funny, but it's also touchingly real. It's proof that planes, trains, and automobiles can make you laugh one moment and get you thinking deeply the very next. At its core, the movie is about two very different guys, Neil and Dell, who end up stuck with each other because of a series of very unlucky events. Like I said, it's all about Neil's irritation with Dell's good nature but super annoying quirks. But as the journey progresses, the film peels back the layers to reveal their vulnerabilities and shared humanity. Now, the themes in this movie, one of the big ones, friendship. Despite their early clashes, Neil and Dell develop a bond as they navigate all the ups and downs of their trip. It shows us that friendship can spring up in the oddest places and between the most unlikely of people. Their evolving relationship is heartwarming and shows the power of understanding and compassion. Compassion is another huge theme. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles tells us that empathy is a big deal. It's about seeing beyond the surface and recognizing the struggles and sorrows hiding underneath. Dell, the cheerful guy, has his own loneliness and heartaches, and Neil starts to get that. That realization leads to acts of kindness and selflessness that really hit home. The need for connection is also a universal theme in this movie. Neil and Dell, in their own ways, are looking for that connection. Neil specifically misses his family and the comforts of home, and Dell is a wanderer who finds his comfort in connecting with strangers, even if it's just for a little while. Their shared journey becomes a question of a place where they belong, a sense of home and family that goes beyond just a location. In the end, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a touching tale that reminds us of the importance of human connection, the power of empathy, and the magic of friendship that can grow in the oddest situations. It's a movie that speaks to people of all ages with lessons in understanding and compassion, and a reminder that in the grand scheme of things, it is our relationships and our connections that matter most. So, what do we rate this movie? My rating for Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? A solid 8 out of 10. It's a classic that isn't just a blast from the past. It's a film that keeps on resonating with audiences, whether you're young and just starting your movie journey, or you're diving deep into the world of film as an adult. This one is for everyone. And that, folks, is going to wrap up this episode of Real Real Talk. If you want to chat, share your thoughts, or toss some ideas our way for future episodes, hit us up at therealrealtalk@gmail.com, on Instagram at Real Real Talk, and on Twitter at Real Real Talk Pod. And don't forget to join us next time as we dive into the zany world of Some Like It Hot. Thanks for hanging out with us. And remember that movies aren't just about fun, they're about life's ups and downs. So until next time, keep watching, keep loving, and keep those reels rolling.